What's good, everybody? I'm Brian.
And I'm Ashley.
Welcome back to another episode of the Killer Point of View podcast, where we love talking about horror movies. We have our co-host Joe here with us.
Hello.
And we have Jamie here with us.
Hey, guys.
On today's chopping block, no pun intended, we have American Psycho, which came out in 2000. What a time to be alive.
Right? The world hadn't gone to shit yet. Everything was...
Oh, no, it had gone to shit. You just...
In 2000, what had happened?
In 2000, I mean, a lot of things had happened by 2000.
Okay.
Talking about in the world?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things.
What?
I mean, just look at history. There's a lot of
You can't
things.
give me one or two examples?
I mean, I could, yeah.
But you don't want to?
No. No.
Okay, fine, whatever.
It's Black History Month, Joe. I'm not working.
It's Black History Month. You don't have to explain yourself.
No. No, I just meant like, because of the internet and, cell phones and stuff like that, we're able to see stuff in real time and see more of stuff that was already going on. That's what I mean. Like the stuff that happens today, it's not new. It's always been going on. It's just we see it now because of social media. That's what I mean.
Fair enough, yeah.
And I feel like this movie kind of dives into that a little bit. Just a little bit. So we have American Psycho, which is definitely a cult classic. I see memes about it all the time. I see people talk about it, post about it all the time. I know that Jamie, Joe, and myself have seen the movie at least a few times. This was Ashley's first time watching it, so I'm curious to see her her thoughts, her initial thoughts watching the film. So please take it away, Ashley.
Okay, I'll just read you the couple notes I made in my phone, okay? Because I feel like they sum up this movie quite well. Okay, my first one is I was so impressed with a man who has a skincare routine, okay? Blown away.
That happens. But thank you for shitting on me, by the way.
Okay, you over here using fucking Axe body wash and got clear ass skin, so I'm not talking about you. It's unfair. Y'all use fucking hand soap to wash your face and have no problem.
I do not use hand soap to wash my face.
No, but a lot of people do.
Okay.
Anyways, okay, my second note is, why is this man naked and how do I make it stop? Like, I didn't want to see any of that. I didn't need to see any of that.
A lot of people did. Little fun fact. I don't want to get into the little trivia things yet, but fuck it. During that shower scene, I think that was like the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Like all the girls on set were there for that part for some strange reason.
No. That's unbelievable.
I mean, you don't hear about that happening with men all the time. You kind of hear about that with maybe women sometimes, I guess. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. No? Or is that just me?
No.
I think it's just you.
That's weird?
No, that's just you. I mean, what you're so... Yeah, repeat that again. You're saying that
it's weird that they just came onto the set to watch that part.
How is that weird?
That's weird.
Men would do the same thing if it was a woman.
Actually, I would be willing to bet.
You hear about that
on the set,
more with women than
on
with
the set
guys.
of a woman being naked. It's probably very strict. It's like if you're not needed in the set, get off the set. They probably are a little more strict with that.
Yeah.
Either way, I was unimpressed and I did not need to see him naked. I could have gone the whole movie and he could have kept all his clothes on. And my last note is that I love Whitney Houston. So those are my big takeaways from the movie.
Oh, that's right.
Because of what she did or what she didn't do? Or just because he mentioned her in the...
I mean, just bringing her up. I mean, I like Whitney Houston. So
they wanted to play something from her, but she said, fuck off.
Well,
she did. Really?
I mean...
Yeah.
I've got some fun facts, too. We'll wait till we get into those.
Yeah,
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They wanted they wanted to play. I think it was something from one of her music videos or something, and she didn't say "fuck off," but she said no.
Yeah. I've got some people here who said no as well. We'll get into that later, though.
Like, because they just didn't want to be associated with the movie.
We'll get there.
Wait. We'll get into that. That's a funny story.
Joe, your first impression, if you can remember, what did you think of the film when you first saw it?
First saw it, bloody. I could tell just by his narration throughout the film that this movie had a very deeper meaning than just a superficial film about a guy who just goes on a killing spree. So, I had to do some homework, obviously, to figure out, what the meaning was. That's why I have a couple of papers here, not 50. So, but yeah, overall, I have a deeper appreciation for the film after having done some homework onto it and, learning a little bit more about what the author was trying to explain, because it's based off a book, obviously. Mm-hmm. So, overall, yeah, good movie.
Jamie, what was your initial thoughts watching the film?
So I think the first time I watched it, it's probably been like a year or two ago. I don't think I really knew much about it the first time I watched it. But definitely when it was over, I was kind of confused, trying to think back, like, okay, what was real? What wasn't real? Was any of it real? But, watching it, I watched it last night for today. And of course, I started Googling stuff and kind of seeing like what other people thought. And, like Joe said, once you kind of look stuff up and kind of try to interpret the meaning of the film, then it kind of all makes more sense. But it's definitely, I really like the movie. Definitely a lot of psychological stuff, but definitely a good movie.
Definitely a lot of psychological stuff.
Yeah.
So you just watched it for the first time last year. Ashley just watched it for the first time last night. When did you see it for the first time, Joe?
It's probably been less than a year, actually.
The first time you saw it?
Yeah. Because I think you were the one who told me to watch it. You gave me some homework. You said, watch this movie. So, less than a year ago. I know that for sure. So.
Interesting.
Why?
I was a little bit. I was late teenager when I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Why do you give me that face, Ashley? No
she
comment.
looks like she hates her life right now. She looks like Christian Bale at the end of the movie. She's just sitting there, just like the pain is constant and sharp. I want this over.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it a while ago. But let's just dive right into the film. So this film came out. Sorry, I had my stuff pulled up. April 14th? I got stuff all over the place. Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
Yep.
Oh shit, there we go. It came out April 14th, 2000. It had a budget of $7 million and it grossed $34 million worldwide. So it didn't do too bad at the box office. It made its money back. So, but I definitely think that the cult following definitely came years later. It's one of those films that I feel like people went back and watched it, and it just kind of became bigger than what it was when it first came out, for sure. I always think about the movie Scarface because I remember watching I forgot. I think it was a documentary, but I remember when that movie came out, everybody trashed it, like the critic reviews or whatever, but it became a cult classic. So,
oh yeah,
it's always interesting to see how that works.
I wonder why they did that, why they trashed it. I mean, I know it happens with a lot of movies that are cult classics.
You talking about this film or Scarface?
Oh, I was talking about this film. Were you talking about Scarface?
Yes.
Man, fuck those fuckers. That looked my little friend. Man, how the hell could you hate that movie?
Because you have to think about, there's a lot of films that push boundaries and stuff like that, and they come out in a time where, you know, some stuff just not shown on screen like that. So it really, it's ahead of its time, really. That's
okay.
That's kind of what it is. But yeah, the cast, we have Patrick Bateman played by Christian Bale, Timothy Bryce played by Justin Theroux, pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name, Craig McDermott, I don't know how to pronounce that, played by Josh Lucas, David Van Patten, who is played by Bill Sage, Jean, who is played by Chloe Savini, Evelyn Williams, played by Reese Witherspoon. We have Lewis Carruthers, played by Matt Ross. Paul Allen, played by Jared Leto. Donald Kimball, played by Willem Dafoe. Elizabeth, played by Guinevere Turner. Some pretty decent names in here.
Definitely.
I mean, especially like thinking about it today, like Jared Leto is a really big name. Reese Witherspoon is a really big name.
Yeah,
obviously Christian Bale is a really big name.
I was surprised when I saw Jared Leto in it for the first time. I was like, holy shit, he's been acting longer than I think. Because I think he started off in singing, right? In his band?
Yes.
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah. 30 Seconds to Mars?
I can't remember the first time I seen him. Like what movie was
I
the
think
first movie?
Lord of War was probably the first time I recall ever seeing him, but
That came out well into the 2000s.
yeah,
so.
I didn't put a name with the face until that point, and now I'm seeing him everywhere. I'm like, holy shit, he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in my so-called life?
Who? Jared Leto?
Jared Leto, yeah.
My So-Called Life?
I'm not familiar with that.
What is
it? It was a TV show. I think Claire Danes was in it.
Claire Danes. Why does that name sound?
Now I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, that's the chick from Homeland that Ashley hates with a passion.
Claire Danes.
Because she's just a little crybaby bitch the whole time.
On the show, she's not talking about it in real life.
I gotta look her up now.
No, she's fine in real life. It's just
she's talking about the show
yeah.
Homeland. Yeah.
show.
Yeah, the show was back in '94, and he was in that show. So he's definitely been around since the '90s.
What's the name of it?
My So-Called Life.
My So-Called Life.
Yeah.
He must have been a baby.
It's not ringing a bell. You think everybody looked like a baby because like they didn't have facial hair and
No, I feel like he looked like a baby in this movie, and if this was 6 years prior.
Yeah, I have to.
I remember it. I remember this.
Looking at him,
it was on for like one season or something like that.
Looking at him in this movie and looking at him like today, it's like he doesn't age at all. Really, he looks about the same. He's one of those lucky ones.
Yeah, but like I remember, like just thinking, I'm pretty sure this was the movie that kind of put Christian Bale in the spotlight. You know, he went on to be in Batman and stuff like that. Justin Theroux, I think. The movie that comes to mind when I think about him is I'm pretty sure he was in one of the damn Charlie Angels movies way back when. He was in the girl on the train that we did not too long ago.
Oh, that's a good movie.
I don't remember, but that was a good movie.
He was one of the husbands. I know they kept showing different point of views with stuff.
I don't even know which dude you're talking about from this movie. So, don't.
Yeah, just stop.
He had black hair.
They all looked the same
shit.
to me.
No, all of them did not. I'm pretty sure he was the only one who had black hair.
They were all wearing suits, and
I'm pretty sure they all had like brownish kind of hair. He had black hair.
I won't dive into it yet, but there's a reason why they all looked the same damn near throughout the movie.
Yeah. Josh Lucas, I know him from I know he was on Yellowstone, but he's been in other stuff. I've seen he was in a movie called Poseidon, which was basically Titanic, but
that had Kurt Russell in it.
More entertaining. Yes.
Yeah. Good movie. I think Andre Braugher was in it too. He was the captain or whatever.
What's the main girl from Shameless? I'm pretty sure she was in that movie.
Emmy Rossum.
If that's her name, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure she was in that Poseidon movie. But yeah, I like him also. Obviously, Reese Witherspoon has been in a lot of shit. Also, Willem Dafoe. And Chloe Sevigny, she's been in quite a few things. She was in Zodiac. Ashley, I don't know if you...
I'd have to look up a picture, but...
She was with, not Jared Leto, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Like, they were together, and...
Yeah.
So, I like her also. But, yeah, it, you know, it has a pretty good cast. So let's dive into the school of horror, starting with the plot. Unless you want to bring up... You want to do some facts about the movie first, Joe, or you want to do that afterwards?
I thought we could do it afterwards. Just little fun facts. I mean, there was a shit ton of facts, but I only picked, some of the funnest ones. So.
Well, I have some also.
Yeah.
Mentally, I probably won't remember all of them. Yeah, so let's start with the plot. I think the plot consists of the story arc and the plausibility, and I think that this has a really good plot. Is basically a man who is determined to fit in because he's determined to fit in and becomes unhinged, and he loses that public persona, basically, and he starts going ape shit. He's Dexter before Dexter, Ashley.
That's true. Him and his little raincoat.
I forgot about that. So what did y'all think about the plot? Jamie?
I would give the plot a B because I think it's definitely an interesting concept. And, like I said, I enjoyed the movie, so I think the plot was good.
Ashley?
Minus the fact where I was like super confused the whole time, I would say it was okay. So like, I guess probably a B. I just had a really hard time trying to figure out if this shit was actually happening or if he was fucking hallucinating or what, because right in the beginning when he was at that bar and I was like, what the fuck, when he was talking about killing that girl, but he wasn't actually talking about killing that girl. I don't know. So we'll go with B. I feel like the book might have been better and done a better job at explaining what the fuck was going on.
The book definitely went into more detail with everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's some controversy about that stuff, but Joe?
Well, speaking of that, I'll start with that. So, I mean, director Mary Harron she's in a 2000 interview along with the author Brett Ellis, Brett Ellis suggested that the movie should have never came to be because it really just the problem with films is that the medium demands that you can be as ambiguous with the film as much as you want. However, it's still being answered for us visually. So, in other words, the movie kind of distracts you from what the hidden meaning in what the book was trying to give. So, in my opinion, I mean, the hidden meaning is about it exposes the hollowness of superficial lifestyles, consequences of masking our personality, opinions, and true self. So, and I mean, overall, I think the plot was definitely an A- after having watched it a second time and done my homework on it.
Can you say that again about the
everything?
No, no, about the hidden meaning.
So the hidden meaning, from what I've gathered from the homework I did, that it exposes a few things, and I just touched on a couple of them. So it exposes
that's a pause. But continue.
Yeah, okay. Broke my train of thought, damn it. It exposes the hollowness of superficial lifestyles, the consequences of masking our personality, opinions, and our true self. And now what I mean by that specifically is the movie kind of, just like the book, brings light on the persona and the shadow that exists within each of us. The persona being the masks that we wear when we're out and about with their colleagues, friends, maybe even your family. The shadow is the other half of you that no one really sees. That's the side that's maybe not accepted by society because it's maybe more primal, or in this case, more violent. So I think the movie was trying to tell us more about that and how we live in a society that says, this behavior is acceptable, this is not. And we try to mask our personality to fit in more, like you said, to fit in more. And obviously, you cannot, how should I word this? You cannot know your true self without knowing the shadow of yourself, being the dark side of yourself. I mean, you're never fully a human being if you don't know both sides of you, both sides of the coin, in other words. So,
you think everybody has that?
Absolutely. Even psychologists say that. Everybody has, and we even see this in metaphors, angels and demons, yin and yang. Every part of us, each of us has a persona, the side that everybody sees, and then the other side that nobody sees. So.
I don't think I agree with that.
Are you saying that based on your own self-reflection? You don't think you have a dark side, or?
I mean, people have a dark side and they show them. I don't.
True. That is true. People sometimes show both sides easily, but most of us keep the dark side buried within, because again, it's not accepted by society.
I definitely think most people are like that. And then I think there's people who don't give a fuck.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. There are people out there who, how should we say, they don't have a filter. They call it like it is. Yeah. They'll be like, no, this is bullshit. I mean, it's like when you talk to your boss, I mean, most of us would probably be like, yes, sir, I can do that. Whereas some of us would be like, no, bitch, you're fucking wrong. You can't put that on the damn paperwork.
Well, see, why you pointing at me, Ashley? I've never talked to any boss like that ever in my life.
I know, but you be thinking it.
Oh yeah.
I think I think that's getting a little. I think that's kind of mixing things, because I think there's a time and a place for everything. I think just because you don't express your true emotion in that moment doesn't mean you're hiding it. I understand the thing, because I do agree to a certain extent. But
I'll say, you want me to go deeper?
No.
Pause.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
that was way out of fucking line. Holy shit.
Oh, so that's the shadow. See, that's the side that you don't want to see.
What? There's no shadow in that. What are you talking about?
I'm not going to go any further than that. I had something I could have said, but no.
I'm going to make y'all a pause jar.
It's Black History. Huh? A pause jar?
Yeah.
Every time we say pause, we got to put money into the jar.
A quarter in there.
Okay. I'll just take the money afterwards. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. No, but I do agree to a certain extent that, because in my opinion, the movie is definitely about people wearing masks. And I don't think I know that that's what they showed in the film about, how, you got these guys who have money, go to these nice restaurants and stuff like that. But I think, everyone has a mask to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm. And again, just jump back on that. Everyone in the film is kind of like chasing after a generic image of success. How we see, like, for example,
except Jean.
Except for who?
Jean. I think she's the only normal person in the film.
I'm sorry, who was Jean again?
Chloe Savini. She was the secretary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think she's the one that... continue, because I don't want to...
But, throughout the film, identities are mistaken. Like, for example, the famous business card meeting, or business card scene. He gets mistaken as a guy named Halberstram due to their same clothes, same glasses, same haircut. And within the same scene, everyone has like the exact same appearance. Like Ashley had said, it's hard to tell who was who because everybody looked the same. It's because they're all chasing after that yuppie image, as it's known.
This is why, in my opinion, this is why the Huey Lewis song "Hip to Be Square," for me, stands out a lot because all of these people live in a box.
Yep.
They do the same exact shit. They like the same fucking thing. They're all trying to fit into this little ass box. And to me, Jean is someone who's kind of outside of the box, because she was wearing whatever she was wearing. And, he was telling her she's better than that. She should wear a dress and some heels or whatever. And like, to me, I think she is kind of outside of that box because she also sees a lot of the issues that he has throughout the film.
And I would say that's true because I mean she's also in a different social status.
Yes.
So I mean there's like sorry, my notes are all over the place. Like I said, you know, there's like for example the scene where he's with the Asian laundromat people. Mm-hmm. How he communicates with them because they're of a lower social status So he communicates them in a degrading manner, and when that woman walks into the laundromat, his behavior just changes instantly. Yep. So, but yeah, that's why I would say she's definitely more normal. So, but there's even a part of Bateman. There's one single part of Bateman that is normal. You know, throughout the movie, we see him trying to, like, for example, when he's talking about his body care routine and what he does and everything, and how he, like, for example, the scene where he's talking about at the restaurant, like, pressing social issues, how we need to do more of this and more of that, be more caring for others and stuff. He's saying that shit to fit in. But there is one thing that separates him from everybody else, and that's his, crazy as it sounds, his passion for music. Like when he talks about music, for example, when he's talking right before he kills Paul Allen, granted, Paul Allen's a little drunk. So, but Paul Allen doesn't give a shit. And when he's talking to the damn hookers, they don't give a shit. But he talks about it with passion. He loves it. So that's like one single human thing about him.
Telling somebody to not stare at it and eat it while talking about Phil Collins is fucking insane.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that one.
But no, in my opinion, I think his normal side is him unhinged. I think that's his normal. I think we put labels on stuff like normal. Who are we to say what's normal, not normal? It's kind of the argument I always have, like who decides what's good, what's bad, all that shit.
Well, society decides.
Yeah, but before I jump into that, what's your definition of his normal side? For him, his normal is just chaos, basically. Did it elaborate a little bit more on that? I mean, what's abnormal? How about that? His normal in the beginning of the film when he was taking the mask off, when there was nothing there, I think that's his normal. It's just nothing. Well, yeah, in that scene, you know, where he says, you know, there's an idea of a Patrick Bateman, some kind of abstraction. No, I'm not really there. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, the definition of normal, at least in this movie, is how everybody was behaving because society determines what is normal and what is not. And so that's not perhaps, granted, his true self. His true self was, you know, his shadow, what he was ending up doing, killing people. So, but yeah, I get what you're trying to say. Let's move on to acting, which consists of the characters and the performance. I think that I think most of the characters in this film don't really have any depth to them, but I think that fits the idea of like the hollowness of that lifestyle and stuff like that. So that makes sense that the characters are like that. But I think acting wise, I think everybody did an amazing job. What about you, Jamie?
Oh, definitely. I would give the acting an A for sure. I think everyone was like perfect. Every actor was perfect for their character, especially Christian Bale, obviously. I couldn't imagine anyone else playing Patrick Bateman. Like, to me, he gave that role like everything and just played him just perfectly. Yeah,
he did a lot. He did a lot. He did a lot for the role.
He did a lot more than you guys know. I can't wait to get to that.
Right. Ashley, what about you? How do you feel about the acting and the performances and all that stuff?
I'd probably have to say A as well.
Yeah, I think outside of Christian Bale, who would you say had the next best performance?
Me?
Anyone.
Oh, okay. I don't think I have anybody. Everybody else was just kind of like base level. They were just there.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the same. Are you asking me about my acting rating?
I mean, both.
All right, my acting rating is A. So that's another A for me. It's like this. Everybody did a good job in this. Obviously, most of the credit goes to Christian Bale. I'll give a little credit to Willem Dafoe because I just like him as an actor. He's good. So, but yeah.
Jamie, outside of Christian Bale, who would you say had like the next best performance? If you can name someone.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, I'd probably say Willem Dafoe just because, like Joe said, like he's kind of like an OG actor. You know, he's been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know he wasn't in it that much, but I think the scenes that he had, you know, were good.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to directing, which consists of vision and execution. I think that the director, Mary Herron, that's her name. Mm-hmm. I think she did a really good job. One of my favorite like shots in the film is that scene that Ashley was talking about when they were at the bar, and he was talking to the bartender. I forgot what happened, but she was looking for something, and you see Patrick Bateman in the mirror, and this is like the first time we see his mask start to slip off because his true self started to come out, and I really like that scene because it kind of symbolizes that when the camera is on him, we're not actually seeing him. We're seeing, you know, it shows the reflection of him. I like that kind of play on the shot or whatever. Ashley, what about you?
Can you repeat your definition for this one?
For directing?
Yeah.
It's the vision and the execution of...
Okay, well, I'm going to have to go with a C. Like I said, I was super fucking confused the whole time. I don't think that there was a great job of explaining things going on. Like, yeah, after the fact, if you go Google everything and it's broken down for you that way, then that's one thing. But to just sit there and watch it.
Just showing how, like, you know, the characters kind of fit together and in all the story and the events and everything.
Talking. He never stopped talking. Yeah, I hope they paid that motherfucker per word because Jesus Christ, he never stopped talking. He was just talking about nothing the whole time.
I mean, that's kind of the point.
I mean, I get it, but like, damn.
And movies like this, we don't see movies like this that often where the story is told from, no pun intended, the killer's point of view. We don't usually see that. We don't see that often. Usually it's from the final girl or final boy. Like, you see the movie or the story from their perspective. But in this case, we see it from his. And that's why a lot of shit just seem all over the place because he's crazy. That makes sense.
I mean, absolutely, yeah.
Joe, how do you feel about the directing of the film?
Well, as I said before, you know, director Mary Herron's, you know, it wasn't her intention she wanted the movie to be as ambiguous as the book was. And obviously, initially when the movie came out, I think that concept kind of fell upon deaf ears. More people were distracted by what they were seeing on screen because a lot of people would go throughout the years just saying, well, did he actually kill those people or did he not? So, I mean, but I think, you know, having watched it again, the film is as ambiguous as she has intended it to be. And as far as some of the scenes in the movie, I like the one you just brought up, the one at the bar scene with the bartender, how that scene kind of started to make you think about, you know, what's going on. What is this movie truly about? Is all this in his mind or is it actually happening? So right. I think she did a great job. I think the author, Brett Ellis, I mean, I haven't read the book, but I imagine the book's got to be pretty damn good. So typically the books are better than the movie, in my opinion. So, but I would give the directing, I'd give it an A-.
Jamie, how do you feel about the directing?
I would probably say like an A- almost to a B+. And I'm going to say mostly because of the ending, which I found some information about what the director said about the ending. And she said that she should have left it more open-ended, that, you know, the ending makes it look like it was all in his head. But she said, as far as she's concerned, it was not all in his head. So she wishes that she would have made it a little more clear. And I agree, because like the first time I watched it, you know, obviously without doing any research, I definitely just thought like everything was in his head.
Right.
But you know, when you watch it again and then obviously you start looking stuff up, then I feel like you have a different opinion, even though still everything's not really like clear cut.
Yeah. I remember watching Inception for the first time, and it had like an open ending to it, and I fucking hate it because it bugged the fuck out of me. So I don't feel that way with this film though. Like I feel like you can, whatever you want it to be, it could be that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you kind of make the ending what you want it to be.
Yeah,
and I think it could work that way. I do want to say though, Joe, because you talked about the book versus the movie. Not everything translate well from the book to the like screen.
Absolutely.
Like not everything that looks good on paper looks good on screen.
Absolutely. That's the author said that those exact words. He's like, it should never have been a movie in his opinion. He appreciates the cult following it got. I think he was interviewed not too long ago about it. He appreciates the following it got, but yeah, it just, the film kind of distracts you from what the meaning was.
I mean, it depends. It depends on the person.
Yeah, true. I mean, after, like I said, you know, when I first watched this movie, I really couldn't understand what it was about. But, you know, after done the homework, it's like, oh, and now I have a deeper appreciation for the film. It's one of those films where you can, I mean, I've seen a film probably a dozen times. It's a film where you can, every time you watch it, you can see something different. Yeah, definitely. So, I think that you can definitely get the stuff from the book. You just, it depends on you. It depends on the person, I think. Anyway, let's move into the dialogue, which consists of storytelling and context. I think that, you know, the dialogue, the conversations between especially his little group of friends, you know, when they were at restaurants and stuff like that, I think it really showcased the characteristics of the people in that lifestyle, especially in that era, because this takes place in the late 80s, and they you know, kind of work on Wall Street and stuff like that. So there's, you know, I think they were at that club, or were they at the restaurant? I don't know, but it was when they were sitting there, and he was talking about, you know, trying to fix world hunger and the homeless and all that stuff. But then he goes on to kill a homeless guy. I mean, shanks the homeless guy and then kills the dog. That fucking A-Town stumped the dog. That part. That like was when I first saw this movie, I just leaned back and I was like, oh, so this is that kind of movie when he killed the dog. From what I've seen, the movie is a Disney movie compared to the book. So I wouldn't be surprised if that disturbed you. You probably shouldn't read the book, because like all the scenes and stuff in the book like goes really into detail about stuff, and I guess Patrick Bateman does like worse things in the book versus the movie. So, but yeah, you know, I just think that you know, the conversations that they had were kind of pointless. Like they would talk about things, but it really it wouldn't go anywhere at all. Yeah, and you know, they talked about fucking business cards. Like if I was sitting at that table, that would go differently. Like if y'all don't get the fuck out of my face with these goddamn cards, like who cares about this shit? Ashley, how do you feel about the dialogue and
I mean, I could appreciate a nice business card, some nice paper, some fancy font. I could appreciate that. But as far as the dialogue, kind of like I just said, it was just a bunch of nonsense and just talking to talk. So I'm going to go with C.
Okay. Jamie?
I would say for storytelling, I would say an A. Especially like everything with Patrick Bateman. I mean, I feel like the whole movie has like a lot of classic lines. Like I always see, like you said earlier, like a lot of memes with different things that are said in the movie. So I would definitely say an A.
For sure. Definitely some classic lines.
Oh yeah, there's one that reminds me of you instantly.
What?
There's a line in this movie that reminds me of you.
I don't know if I like that.
No.
But what is it?
So fucking sometimes Brian would be there at work. Me and Austin would crack some damn jokes, and he would just shake his head and everything. And you know what? I'd want to ask him what's wrong, and I think he would probably say something along the lines of what Pat Bateman said in one scene. He was like, "My need to engage in homicidal behavior on a massive scale cannot be corrected, but I don't have other means of fulfilling my needs."
Are you calling me a psycho, Joe?
Sometimes, you know what?
That's what it sounds like.
You know what? Maybe we're all psychos.
We are.
There you go. So why are you asking me if I'm calling you a psycho if you already know you are?
I'm normal.
We're all normal, and we're all psychos still.
Mm.
Yeah. But every time I heard that line, I was just like, yeah, that's something Brian would say. Because, I mean, when we crack jokes at work, for example, Brian one time, we cracked a joke. It was so immature and shit, and Brian just shook his head and was like, I miss working with black people. He just shakes his head, puts on his earphones, turns the music up. He's like, no. Kind of like Pat Bateman, who listens to music all the time.
Yeah, you really trying to paint me as a fucking psycho now. Great job. Thank you for that. Yeah, I definitely put my headphones on. Sometimes I don't listen to music. I just want people to leave me the fuck alone. Yeah.
But as far as are we calling it dialogue or storytelling now, or does it?
I mean, the dialogue. I mean, it kind of carries the storytelling. I think it kind of go hand in hand.
Okay,
I believe.
All right. Well, in my opinion, dialogue. I mean, I think the dialogue was pretty good. Like his narration throughout the film, talking about in certain scenes, such as when he's doing like his body care routine in the morning, he talks about all the things he does, and in my opinion, it kind of paints him as someone who's just devoid of their own identity, to a sense. Not the part where he says, I'm not there. It's the fact that he's just a generic version of somebody else.
Yeah.
So, and it's not who he truly is. Mm-hmm. And but one of my favorite scenes is actually, as you already mentioned, the card scene. How everyone is so obsessed with how their cards look. And Pat Bateman, he starts the whole conversation. He presents his card, and I think it's his desire to be different from everybody else. He's like, here's my card. It's better than everybody else's. And then when they see Paul Allen's card, he almost loses his shit right there.
Yeah.
So, and that pisses him off to the extent to where he ends up murdering Paul Allen. So,
over a fucking business
card. So, just because he had a better one. And he did that, I think, to make himself, maybe to reestablish his overinflated ego. His ego got hurt because somebody had a better card than him. So, his desire to fit in, as he says actually in the car with Reese Witherspoon's, I forgot her character's name.
Yeah.
But, when she asks him, why do you work for the company? I mean, and he says,
Evelyn.
Evelyn, I want to fit in. And his desire to fit in is so extreme that, he'll kill people.
It's just like Dexter, Ashley. Little different, because, like, he don't kill people for, dumb reasons. Like, he kill actual people that's hurting and killing people.
Right, but he still has that persona where he's just like...
He doesn't really feel anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that show is so fucking good. I will argue that first season is one of the best seasons of television, period. It's so fucking good. Like the storytelling and everything.
Yeah, immediately hooked.
May have to watch that again. I asked everybody about the dialogue, correct?
Yes, I gave it a B+. I didn't give it a rating. So B+.
Okay. Let's move on to editing, which consists of pace and effects. Ashley, how did you feel about the pace? Because I know you had said something when I had paused it, and it was like 20-something minutes.
I guess what I thought this movie was going to be, based off the little bit that I saw of it previously, was not what the movie actually was. So I thought that more people were going to be being murdered. I thought that the murders were going to last longer than 4.5 seconds. Mm-hmm. So I guess I was expecting more of that, and it was just kind of like a lot of people being there, and that's the extent of it. So I don't think the pacing was that great, in my opinion. If I had to give it a grade, I'm gonna keep going with C's, average, I guess.
Okay. Jamie?
I would say a B. I feel like the movie's pacing is good. I don't really feel like I'm ever bored watching it. It's not something that I pause to see how much time's left, or keeps me engaged.
Mm-hmm. Joe?
I have to agree completely with Jamie on that one. Yeah, I didn't feel bored watching this at all. Like she said, it keeps you engaged. I'd give it a B.
For me, the editing was really good because with each scene, we start to see more and more cracks in his mask, to where, it gets to a point where he just becomes completely unhinged. Mm-hmm. So I think the pacing was great. I definitely think, and that's probably why you feel this way, Ashley, watching the movie one time it's not a film you could watch one time, and it can be confusing. So I understand your feeling on that. Let's move into cinematography, which consists of visual, language, lighting, setting, and wardrobe. It definitely had that late 80s feel to it, especially with those fucking suits. The limousine, the nightclub and stuff they went to definitely felt like 80s. The music, obviously, which I'm a fan of. So, Ashley, how did you feel about that?
Visually, I feel like it was pretty on par with, that time. I think they did a good job of that. One scene that sticks out to me in particular is the one where he's like standing over the railing, and he's like
with the chainsaw.
He's tracing the chainsaw around, trying to figure out where to drop it, and I was like, oh. That is one scene that really stood out to me, because I was like, there's no way he's going to hit her.
It wasn't because he was running naked with a chainsaw.
No. Again, he could have put his clothes back on, and I would have been fantastic.
He managed time to put his shoes on.
Yeah, he's got his fucking shoes on.
I didn't even notice that before, but when we was watching it earlier, I was like, this motherfucker really put on shoes to chase her with a chainsaw?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you should have just grabbed your pants at that point and gone barefoot.
Little fun fact. In between takes in that scene, he had like a little sock over his little thing.
I'm sure it was little, yeah.
So, why you gotta talk about the man like that? You don't know.
And I don't intend to find out.
But no, I just thought that was weird. Like, why not just put on a fucking robe? But I guess he really wanted to stay in character, just throughout everything. Even when he met the author, he was in character.
He was naked?
I don't no, I said in character. I said in character, not naked.
Well, he was naked for
I don't know if you have that.
So.
If you have facts. Because I could talk about it if you don't have that in your facts. Joe.
I'm sorry, what was it?
I said I could talk about that if you don't have that as one of your facts, that he met the author.
No, I didn't know that one at all.
Yeah, he met the author. He was in character, and the author was creeped out as fuck and told him to stop. But yeah, so I thought that was funny. But But yeah, that scene was funny. I was like, he really put on shoes.
No,
and
it was more so him, like, just him standing over the railing and like trying to be so precise, and when he dropped it so that he could ensure he hit her, and he didn't even have to keep chasing her. Like,
and that scene was kind of foreshadowed by when he was working out and the Texas Chainsaw movie was playing in the background. Actually, another because they mentioned Ed Gein, which inspired Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So and kind of goes back to the movie being about masks. So it's a lot of little things in there. Because nobody had more masks than Leatherface. That's for sure. Joe, how did you feel about the cinematography?
This is the one that always gets me.
It's the visual, you know.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
How did it look to you?
Okay. Yeah, the fact that it was, they definitely made it look like it was the 80s, for sure. That's one thing I liked. All the damn suits and everything. And I want to get into the labels of the suit makers and everything yet, because that's a little fun fact there. But, yeah, I think the cinematography was good. I'd give it a B.
Okay. Jamie?
Yeah, I'd say the same. I'd say a B. Once again, like you guys said, it showed what the 80s looked like, and one of my favorite time periods, so can't go wrong with that.
Let's move on to the soundtrack / film music score, whatever you want to call it. Jamie, what did you think about the music in the film? Did it stand out to you, or like?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, now that we're kind of talking about the music, I'm trying to pay more attention to it. But like with this movie, I didn't have to pay attention because it was. It was right there. I would definitely say an A+. Because once again, it's the 80s, and I feel like pretty much every song they played, I was like, yeah, this song's awesome. So, yeah, definitely A+, A+, A+.
Joe?
A+. That's that simple. It's the 80s. It's good music, so.
Yeah.
Ashley?
I didn't recognize a lot of it. It was hard to obviously ignore because it was a huge part of the movie, so it's not something you can really miss. I'm going to give it a B, and that's simply because I could get down to some Phil Collins if I needed to, so that's where I'm at.
I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to do that.
About Phil Collins? What?
Huh?
What did he do?
No, it's just he was telling somebody to fucking...
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that. That's not what I was focusing on.
While talking about Phil Collins, or even when he was talking about Huey Lewis, and then he just fucking... moonwalk out of a damn room with a raincoat and an axe. Like, this guy is nuts.
I wish they would have used I wish they would have used a more authentic looking axe. Like,
you could tell that
shit was fake as fuck.
I mean,
like, come on.
It's 2000.
Yeah, and they should have done better. Okay.
Actually, I don't know if you have that as a fact. The dancing scenes in that scene,
yes,
with Paul Allen,
yeah,
you have that as a fact. Okay, I won't say it then.
You can say it. I mean, I got plenty of others.
That was all improvised by Christian Bale.
Yep.
What, he was dancing?
The dancing, and when he danced backwards.
He moonwalks out the bedroom with the axe in a raincoat. Right there, I would have been like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? I don't care how drunk I am. That's not normal. And then when he was talking about the Hip to Be Square song, how he was moving his hips and shit. He was dancing. That was all
I must have
like improvised
that part, because
how can you miss it? Like, it's like,
I don't know. It just maybe I don't remember. It didn't stand out to me. So
he looked like he was fast walking. Like, you didn't see that?
No.
Okay.
But when he was with the one dude with the axe, he did turn around and he was like, what did he say? Like, nice rain, or is that a raincoat? Or
yeah,
nice
he said that, but he wasn't really. He was drunk.
Okay, I don't care if I'm drunk and I turn around and somebody's in the house with a weird ass raincoat on. I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
The first sign of trouble should have been the damn fact that you're sitting in a chair surrounded by newspapers.
Well, he asked, like, "Do you have a dog or something?" Yeah. I get it.
Still, the rest of the house is Doesn't have newspapers, but where I'm sitting, there is.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the music was so. The music in the movie, all the songs we hear, "Hip to Be Square," "Walking on Sunshine." That's not really a part of the movie. It's just music in the movie. Mm-hmm. So, like which they did have an issue with. That's where most of the money went for the film. It went to licensing the music.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. I looked that up one time.
Yeah, that's why a lot of artists try to own their own masters and stuff like that, because they get more money when they get played in movies, commercials, shit like that. But yeah, they the music, the Halloween theme is original music for the film. That would be the score or the theme for the movie. The "Hip to Be Square" song is just a song in the movie. It's not really a part of the movie. But
you mean it doesn't have a hidden meaning behind it? It's just a song.
No, it's they tried to they did make a soundtrack and they put that on there, but he had an issue with that song being on the album because that was the only song that was a real song. The rest was just Patrick Bateman talking or instrumentals and shit like that. That was the only song that was on there. So he had an issue with that, so he pulled the song off of it because they were basically selling the album based off that song, the "Hip to Be Square" song. So, but the music in the movie that they played was it reminded you of the 80s, so can't go wrong with that. Let's move on to the attraction, which consists of the premise and the entertainment value. Joe, you wanna you looking it up?
Yeah.
Or you want me to tell?
Yeah, why don't you just tell me? I have ADD. Kiss my ass.
So basically, what made you want to watch this film? Was it the trailer? Was it the plot?
Because you told me to.
Yeah, it was against my will.
What are you talking about against your will?
No, I guess just curiosity is what brought me to watch it. Everybody talks about the movie, but by the time I watched the movie, it's already grown a cult following, so it's already well known.
That's true, because I did just watch it recently. So
yeah,
okay. So yeah, I guess.
I mean,
but entertainment value,
entertainment value. Yeah,
how entertaining was it?
I mean, like same thing I said with I forgot where we said it, which one we said it on, but it keeps you in. The story keeps you intrigued. It's you're not getting distracted. You're not wanting to turn it off or whatever. Movie wasn't too long. I forgot how long it was.
I think an hour 40 something.
It wasn't too long minutes. In my opinion. It was right amount. So yeah, I guess I would give it a B plus.
Ashley. Were you not entertained? Damn, I wish I had Gladiator queued up right now.
Write that shit down. That one.
It's not that I was entertained in some parts, and there are some parts of it that I would have liked. I don't know.
Was it when he was working out in his whitey tighties? No.
They could have cut that out. Okay. I don't know why you keep doing that.
I'm just trying to make you laugh.
No, it's just there's parts that I wish that they could have maybe expanded on more, or even to just kind of
what?
Just the story in general, to give me a better understanding. I guess now I kind of want to read the book because I just feel like I'm
would probably
pretty lost, and I still don't understand it, because one thing that I read about the ending, and I don't know if this was just somebody's made up theory or what it was, but his lawyer guy, they had said something about he had made up the whole eating dinner with the guy in London thing to try to convince him, you didn't really do these things and different stuff like that. So I was just very confused. So I'm gonna have to go with a C again.
Yeah, I think you can form a lot of different theories.
I hate movies like that. I hate books like that. I want an ending. I don't want to sit here and wonder and make up my own.
Because it's like what Jamie said about the director talking about how it was kind of left open ended,
I
because
don't like that at all.
because we don't see Paul Allen again after, Patrick Bateman killed him. So like, we don't really know if he's alive or dead,
So what, do you guys think it was all in his head, or you think they were actually lying to him? Or
really up to the person?
Well, I mean, there's signs that it is in his head throughout the movie. Like, for example, the ATM tells him, feed me a cat. The part where he uses the handgun with precision skill and just kills the cops and blows up the car and shit.
But that was the 80s. A lot of action movies like that was.
But that's not the point. The point is that this guy who no training, no nothing, and he's just perfect at it. These are signs that clearly it's kind of all happening in his head. And as the bodies, when he goes to the apartment, they're all gone. They're not there.
I think by that point he was gone. Because he was on medication. We saw him take a couple minutes.
Did they ever say what that was? I didn't see it on the bottle.
I don't think so.
That would have been nice to know.
Because I think the scene where he killed Paul Allen, he took some, and they showed the bottle, but I don't think you could see what it was, or at least I don't remember. And then the other scene, I think it was when he was on the phone with his secretary, and I think he had took some, but again, I don't think they showed what it was.
Yeah, because I read, I forgot who was the one who said it, but throughout the movie, somebody mentioned, the possible mental illnesses he was suffering from. Mm-hmm. I mean, they say narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and psychopathy. So it's like, yeah, maybe he was taking meds. That's for sure.
Jamie, how did you feel about the premise and the entertainment value?
I would definitely say a B. Because, like I said before, it's a good movie. I was entertained. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it is very entertaining. I think with every scene that passed, you were, just kind of waiting to see what happened next, Mm-hmm. I think we kind of mentioned that with the editing and stuff. Fear factor. Now, I know some people be confused by this. So the film could either be scary or the situation itself could be scary. So Ashley, I know the film wasn't scary, but would that situation be scary to be around somebody like Patrick Bateman or to be Patrick Bateman yourself?
Well, I think both. Like to be around somebody who is very unpredictable, and
that's everybody. That's how I see the world.
Okay.
You can't, everybody is unpredictable.
Okay. I'll stick with my answer. And yeah.
No, I'm saying you're right. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you.
Yeah. I think it would be, it's not scary, but
that situation.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah. That, what I mean by that is Ghostface isn't scary, but the thought that it could be somebody somebody you're close to is a scary thought. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And because we don't, you can know things about a person, but you don't really know them. You don't know what they would do in certain situations. You can guess and you could be right, but you don't really, really know. Mm-hmm. So, and that could be scary. So, Joe.
Well, obviously it's not scary. Now you said the situation being scary, right?
Yeah.
So I think the movie, because when I was doing my research, apparently the movie not only has it obtained a cult following, it's also become popular among men nowadays. And the reason being that it taps into the psyche of men and the battle with one's own individual identity. So back to what I was saying about, the persona and the shadow that everybody has. So the film, from what I've gathered from the research I did, it resonates with men because today men kind of find themselves repeating similar patterns. They're wearing a mask of persona, when they're out and about. And when they get home or whatever to kind of face the shadow or dive into that other part of you, the dark part of you, they're doing it through, hedonistic pursuits like video games, porn, drugs. And we see this throughout the film with Bateman. He channels his, the dark side of him through porn, violent films, prostitutes, drugs, degrading those in a lower social status than him, with like the homeless man and the Asians at the laundromat. So, I think it kind of goes back to the message of the film that makes it, in a way, kind of horrifying, because it's like we are all sort of trying to fit in, whether it's intentional or not, because we want to be accepted by society. We don't want to be an outcast. No one likes being an outcast. It does have its perks. I'm not denying that. And there are those who are brave enough to actually go out and face that. But, you know, the problem with Bateman is that, I'm sorry, my notes are a little crazy right now.
It's okay.
The one thing I learned about the ending, Bateman, you know, he kind of finds himself trapped in his own personal hell because he wants to stand out, but everyone is so self-absorbed. They're actually ignoring the fact that he's killed people, that he's done all this stuff. And that kind of leaves him, and one small little fact I found out, the ending when he's sitting there in the chair and he gives his closing little confession or whatever, displayed behind him on the door is "This is not an exit," which is a homage to a screenplay or to a play by someone named Jean-Paul Sartre. The play was called No Exit, and it's about 3 people trapped in a room that is revealed to be hell. And in the end, the characters have the freedom to leave the room. However, none of them can do it because they can't bring themselves to be perceived by the others. So, I mean, overall, I would give the fear factor, I guess I would give it a B-, because I think the message it's trying to send correlates with that. So,
"This is not an exit" is the last sentence in the novel also. So
that I'm not surprised by. Yeah.
They actually most of the dialogue in the film came directly from the novel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is, I wonder how the hell. Well, he was a writer on the movie also, so. But that's cheating. Like, you just copied and paste.
Well, I'm sure there's maybe. Is there anything that had to be altered?
Yeah, there was.
Well,
but
actually,
I'm just saying a lot of the dialogue.
There's some shit that had to be altered. I'll get to that in a minute, though.
Yeah, I don't think it was scary at all.
Yeah, so
I don't think the situation would be scary either. But that's just me.
Like I said, yeah, there are people out there who they're more okay. So I know you kind of already answered this question, but let me ask it again. Do you believe that there are 2 sides to each person, like a persona and a shadow? Okay, so you admit that you have a persona and shadow yourself. Would it be fair to say that?
Define the shadow part.
Let me go to my notes because maybe my notes are a bit. Okay, so let me tell you what a persona is. The persona is the mask we display on the surface, the characteristics that society approves of and deems appropriate. The shadow is everything that is opposite of the persona, parts that we have to repress.
Oh.
So, you?
I think at one point I did. Today I don't give a fuck. Like I don't.
So you are in touch with your shadow. It's like you face your own demons. You face your own shadow.
Self-reflection on a daily basis.
Need to commit homicidal mayhem on a massive.
No, I think a lot of people is like that though. I think more people is like what you're talking about, but I think a lot of people, they know themselves and they are okay with what they're okay with and don't care what other people think.
I would say probably not, in my opinion. I would say most people are not in touch with.
I was saying most people is like what you're talking about. Like they don't know they're trying to fit in like that. I think there's a lot of people that they're perfectly fine with being alone. Mm-hmm. They're okay with being an outcast. I know when I was a kid, and I mean, it could just be how we were, but nobody wanted to have on the same thing as somebody else. Right. Like my friend group was complete opposite of Patrick Bateman. Like if somebody had on, Jordans, somebody else was wearing Air Force One, somebody else was wearing different kind of shoes. Like, we want it to be different from each other. Right. So, it just depends on the person. Everybody is different. So, but yeah.
It's kind of interesting. It's got me thinking about how I've just said, people trying to fit in, people trying, versus people trying to be different. Mm-hmm. This movie obviously was filmed during the 80s, which I would say was
took place in the 80s.
Yeah, it took place in the 80s, sorry. I would say that was a time when, as it's displayed here in yuppie culture, which is white-collar guys, everybody's trying to fit in, everybody's trying to be their own thing. Mm-hmm. And today, we try to promote the idea of, individual identity, everyone finding their own, bringing out their own personality and stuff. But in a sense, it's almost like unintentionally everybody's kind of ended up in their own little cliques.
Basically.
Yeah. So in a way, pursuing their own individual identity, they ended up in their own groups anyway. Mm-hmm. So just a thought, something I noticed.
For me, I just, should just be yourself. If I want to listen to Tupac and then listen to Taylor Swift afterwards, I could do that because who gives a fuck?
Right.
But yeah. Let's move into the rewatch value. Jamie, how likely are you to watch this film, multiple times after, today or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something I would watch again. Not like on a regular basis. Maybe once a year.
Okay. Like I said, I think every time you watch it now, especially when you learned more about like some of the behind the scenes stuff on the film or what, certain things are supposed to mean or whatever, I think you're going to see something new every time you watch it. And I mean, if you like movies, then that's awesome because it's like watching a new movie every time you watch it almost.
Yeah.
Ashley, how do you feel about the rewatch value? Is it something
I would personally never rewatch it again.
Unless I force you to, right? Because I force you to do things. That's what you said.
No. I could have turned the movie off because you were sleeping and then just Googled some shit. But no, I absolutely will not watch it again.
I think after you hear like some of the hidden meanings and some of the, improvised scenes or, some of the things, I think if you watch it again, you may look at it a little bit differently. Not saying you would like it more or whatever, but I think you would just look at it a little bit differently.
And that's fair. And I don't think that it's an inherently bad movie. There are just things that I don't personally want to, I don't want to watch it again for that. So,
Joe?
Rewatch value. I definitely have an appreciation for the film now. But I would say, I mean, I probably give it a C+. It's not something I would watch. It's like Jamie said, I probably would watch it again, but I wouldn't watch it personally on a yearly basis. I mean, maybe once every couple years, or maybe if it's just on, maybe just put it on. So, I mean, C+ for me.
Okay. So last one, the theme, which consists of the identity and the depth of the film. I feel like we kind of touched on it a little bit.
I think we touched on it a bit, yeah.
That's a pause, but yes. Ashley, do you what do you think the message was? Especially only watching it one time, or do you think there was a message? Do you think?
No, I definitely think that there was a message, a deeper meaning to the movie. It wasn't just here's this movie, that's it. But again, confused. So.
I mean, I think most people were confused when they watched it for the first time, so I understand that. Joe,
what's the question? What I think the theme was, or
yeah, like, do you think it was a message? I mean, obviously, you think it's a message, but like, what do you think the overall message was? Things like that.
Basically, I already touched on it. I mean, I think it just I mean, again, I've already said this, but I'll say it again. In the end, Bateman finds himself, kind of trapped in his own personal hell, unable to find catharsis because he requires the recognition from those around him in order to conform to his identity as a murderer. However, everybody's just so self-absorbed. Like when he's sitting there in the end, he sits down in the chair and he's giving his confession or whatever, and they're all not even looking at him, just looking at the TV, or they're just talking to each other, and they're just like superficial conversations. It's like he wants to be different, but even that ability he tries to do so by being the most extreme form of difference, and that is being a killer. and everyone's just still ignoring him. And so, but like I said, I think the story presents each of us to examine, how each of us craves approval. Most of us anyway, not you. I get it. You're an exception to the rule. That.
There's a lot of people that don't do that. So I don't want it. I was only speaking for myself.
I think that's true. And this movie, got to keep in mind, this movie came out back in 2000. So, I mean, times were different back then. People were all trying to fit in. And again, I think that's actually true today. People are still trying to fit
100%.
in. So, like I said, people trying to find their own identities, and they're still ending up fitting in. Nowadays, it's with like Instagram likes and followers and stuff like that.
100%.
So, yeah, I think the meaning, it's about, it exposes, our desire to fit in, wanting to stand out. So, yeah, like I said, I've said a shit ton already. So,
yeah.
Basically.
Jamie, what about you? How do you feel about the message of this film? Do you think it's a message? Do you think it's not a strong message? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I had to definitely do some research and kind of look things up. But different articles I read, said that the hidden meaning was, talking about toxic masculinity, corporate greed, materialism. Like Joe said, how everyone around him was so selfish and so self-absorbed. They didn't even pay any bit of attention as to how mentally unstable, Patrick Bateman was.
Mm-hmm.
And, they all dressed the same, talked the same. It seemed like they didn't do anything at work. They went out to lunch all the time, just, I don't know, all just into themselves. And then obviously, like he said, like Joe said, Patrick Bateman's having an identity crisis. He wants to fit in, but it also seems like he kind of wants to be different from everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he gets tired of people thinking that he's someone else. They don't really know his name,
I think
that's what I got out of kind of just looking different things up and reading articles and stuff.
I think other people were confusing each other also. Nobody really knew each other.
I
think that's kind of the point.
I think that was a symbolic gesture to how, like he said in the business card meeting scene, everybody looked the same suits, same glasses, same hairstyles.
Mm-hmm.
It got to the point to where you couldn't tell the difference. They were all generic copies.
I think the only person that started to see, maybe she didn't fully see, but she started to see Patrick Bateman for who he really was Jean, because she found that that book that he had drew pictures and stuff in and stuff like that, where he was, I think, killing people or just some crazy shit.
Drawing. Leave him alone.
Hey, I don't know why I just thought about Superbad and the dueling of the, never mind. I thought that would make Ashley laugh.
Well, I think drawing dead people and drawing dicks are two very different levels of doodles, but all right.
They are, but still, I actually no.
What?
I think one is worse than the other, and it's not the dead people one.
What?
If I saw somebody drawing, people dying and stuff like that, it could be a book, a comic book, or whatever. Seeing, in Superbad, a page full of veiny dicks is not.
Okay, so if you were to go open up my little journal and one page has dicks on it and one page has brutally murdered dead people, which one are you going to be more scared of?
The dicks.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to be more scared of that. I mean, you do true crime.
I've never once doodled dead people in my life.
I'm just saying, though, you could be an artist, you could be doing a story. It's a million reasons to draw that.
I draw like a kindergartner, so.
But the other thing, no. We would have to have a talk.
That's actually interesting because when I was a kid, I never forgot it. I don't know why. It just stuck to my head. I think
a page of dicks?
No, you asshole.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Like I said, if she had drawn dicks, you probably would be concerned if they were white dicks instead of black dicks.
Why would I color them in? They would just be the color of the paper.
White paper.
I wouldn't be concerned at all.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. When I was a kid, I remember I didn't get in trouble, but my teacher took some papers that I had drawn in class. I had drawn basically shooting, shootouts, people dying, and stuff like that. So she took that to my parents and everything. Nothing came of it, but back then it was concerning to see that, I guess. So quick question though: have you guys ever experienced that with any of the kids?
Drawing stuff like that?
No.
Like any teacher saying, hey, we have some concerns about something they drew here. So
No, but I have seen, I think there's probably several episodes, but I remember on an episode of I think it was like CSI or something. They had like taken this little girl's drawings and they were like trying to analyze it because she only like colored with black things, and so they were like thinking that it was evil and dark. And I was like, y'all are doing too much. It's just a kid drawing things.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can tell when it crosses that level of where you should be concerned. But that's just my opinion.
Right. That was just a thought I had. So, but anyway,
which kind of full circle. Funny. Talking about shapes, but I think because what's funny, Ashley?
Nothing.
No, please.
No, what?
Please.
What were we talking about? Shapes.
No, I'm saying a full circle moment
okay.
because you talking about them finding the picture that the girl was drawing and stuff. They saw that could be an issue because they wanted her to fit in a box.
Yeah, they were like, their explanation was like, little kids will pick orange and yellow and green, and they're only drawing with black. And I don't even think the content of the photo was anything dark. I think it was just the fact that she only ever colored with like black crayons or black markers or different things like that. And they were like, the parents were like, okay, and
well, go ahead, Joe.
Well, there you go. It's like that society trying to make her conform to what they find acceptable as a persona. So in a way, you could say that was kind of like her shadow. That was her self, her true self wanting to come out. So,
so I wrote this because I couldn't remember it. Well, it's something I thought of. But I think the message in this film is most people in the world has a facade. But if you pay close attention, you'll see the real them in the cracks from time to time. I think that was really the message of the movie.
I could wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like I said, I think that's most people. I don't think every single person has, tried to. I mean, there's a difference between hiding something and then just not wanting people in your business. Like those, I think, are two different things.
I think most of us anyway, I think most of us naturally hide that part of ourselves because, in other words, we repress it. Like she was just saying with the kid who did the drawing or whatever, society wanted her to repress that part of herself. And when you repress it for so long, like with Bateman, I think, eventually it comes through the cracks. You eventually see it.
I remember when I was in high school and I used to date somebody. I didn't go around telling people about it. It's none of your business. And because I know how the world works, like, because if they don't like you two together, that's how rumors and shit come about. People start spreading stuff, high school shit. Because it don't fit what they want in that box.
Yeah. Like, I can understand that.
That's why today I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And I think in school, when it comes to, like, oppression of your true self or whatever, it's a lot higher.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because they're teenagers, they're all, like, they don't know who they're going to become, their identity. Yeah. They're still questioning their identity. And so you're all trying to force each other into these certain cliques, these certain groups and everything. Yeah. I mean, not even just kids. Like, you can be an adult and still finding out who you are and stuff like that. Yeah. That's just life. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think experience will make you, question that, different experiences and stuff like that. You could believe in one thing when you're a kid, and when you get older, after experiencing some things, you may have a different look or a different opinion about stuff. So it's just life experience.
Oh, yeah. Really. It's like those memes, they say, when you're a kid, it shows, I think, what was that movie? Back to the Future, Where he goes and he sees them all the futuristic kids. They're dressed like that, and it's like kids dressing up nowadays. And then it shows the other photos Clint Eastwood sent on his porch in Gran Torino. It's like me nowadays. It's like, yeah, you get to that point to where, yeah, as you said, when you get older, your perspectives change and everything. It's like nowadays I look at today's music, I'm like, this is garbage. I look at what kids are into, and I'm like, you're an idiot. Why don't you go get a job?
But that's their life experience. Like, they have to go through the dumb shit so they can eventually learn from that, hopefully, and then become a better person.
To a degree. I mean, obviously, there's some dumb shit.
It depends on the situation, obviously.
There is some dumb shit.
Obviously. Ashley, are you ready for a mind fuck?
I don't know if I'm ready for that, honestly.
I mean, it's nothing crazy, but, you know, especially if you have kids, and Jamie could probably relate to this, but you watch your kids grow up, but your kids also watch you grow up as well. Is that a mind fuck or not really?
I mean, kind of, when you really think about it, like, deeply, you know, especially
because nobody can prepare. You can't prepare for kids. You can read all the books in the world, but
no, yeah, literally nothing will prepare you until it happens. Like,
like if you've never been in that situation before, a book is not going to help you that much.
No.
That actually reminds me of, I see Joe has a problem with that.
No. I'm thinking about what you said about how your kids watch you grow up.
Well, yeah, because I mean, even if you could have have a kid at 40 years old, how you are, where you're at in your life at 40 could be completely different from where you're at 50 years old.
I guess what I'm kind of I'm looking at it from a different perspective. It's like, you know, when you're a kid, I mean, depending on who you are, you look up to your parents. Your parents are like, I mean, they're damn near like God to you. It's like they gave birth to you. They have all the answers. They protect you. They provide for you. But as you get older, you realize they don't know as much as they fucking claim to know.
Yeah.
And you start to realize that, and in a way, it kind of like takes them from being this giant that they are to you. They end up becoming just like, hey, you're just like me. So they kind of like, in a way, your parents shrink to you. So, I mean, but I like the idea of what you said. They grow as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a mind fuck.
Oh yeah. I agree with that.
I had a thought, but completely lost it. What did you say, Ashley? You said something.
Like in the last 2 minutes?
Yes.
I don't know what I said. Something about books. Yeah, you said books wouldn't prepare you, and I said
it kind of remind me of a line from Indiana Jones.
Which one?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I know. But, like, if you know Indiana Jones takes place long-ass fucking time ago. A time period where, you know, there were no cell phones. It wasn't, you know, information. Information, you know, you got from, you know, the radio or the library. And it was a scene in the movie where he was being chased and he went into this library and it was full of kids. And one of the kids had stopped him because Indiana Jones is a professor and an archaeologist. And the kid asked him a question about whatever lesson they were doing. And he was trying to find a guy. And Indiana Jones said, you know, don't worry about him. Look up this guy because he spent most of his time in the field. And before he left the library, Indiana Jones was like, if you want to be a good archaeologist, you got to get out of the library. So that's why I was kind of thinking about when he was talking about the kids. Like, you can read a book, but until you actually have a kid, I mean, and really that just applies to life, I think, in general. Yeah. Until you actually go experience stuff, you're not really going to know. So, but yeah, so everyone's overall grade of American Psycho. Joe, what would it be?
A-.
A-. Jamie?
A B.
B. Ashley?
Probably a C. There were definitely some aspects of it that I did like. What I can't think of his name now. What's his nuts?
Christian Bale?
Yeah. did a great job.
So you keep thinking about that damn chainsaw scene, talking about nuts. Never mind. Okay.
No. But he did a great job. I just would have liked a little bit more from it, but
okay. Joe, your facts, sir.
Before I get to those, I just want to say a thank you to some of YouTubers who I got this information from. The Vile Eye, which did an episode called Analyzing Evil, Patrick Bateman. Basically, that's what his show's about. He just analyzes villains from various movies and stuff.
I would like to. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. The Take, which the question of that episode was, is it all in his head? And then the other one was a YouTuber called Moon, Why Men Love American Psycho. So, anyway, so to my facts. Where are they?
I don't just think it's men, by the way. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what the episode is called.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see. I didn't go, like I said, there was 30 facts. This is from another YouTube channel called The Why. 30 facts you didn't know about American Psycho. I don't have all 30 here. So we already covered one, which was his improvs, dance improv during that scene. So first fact, some of the paintings displayed in Bateman's apartment show men and women wearing traditional business clothes while standing in exaggerated and contorted poses. So I'm not sure if you guys remember that, but the reason for them is it's meant to help reveal the overall meaning behind the film and is supposed to be interpreted by the audience as individuals atomized by society's conformities with their clothing and their poses represent their desire to escape from it.
Right.
So,
Makes sense.
I thought that was an interesting one. Due to the film's graphic nature, many designer labels refuse to allow their clothing or luggage to be used in the film, with scenes such as Calvin Klein, the underwear scenes that he did, Comme des Garçons, luggage for Paul Allen's body. Even though they are mentioned in the book, they were replaced by Perry Ellis and Jean-Paul Gaultier, respectively. So the suit brand also Cerruti, I don't know suits. They chose not to pull their brand only on the condition that Bateman was not wearing them when he killed people. So thought that was interesting.
Makes sense.
How would you even be able to tell?
People know suits. And not our class of people, upper class yuppies know those suits. They're like, yeah, I recognize that suit. I have one of those kind of things. So, but yeah, because apparently in the book, there's a lot of brands that he names, but when those brand companies saw the movie and everything, they're like, fuck no, you're not using this. Not for that scene anyway. Another one, Bateman's colleagues can be seen wearing Rolexes. However, he himself is wearing a Seiko. This is for the same reason that several clothing brands pulled their brands from the film. They didn't want him wearing it. So, another fact, Patrick Bateman's name is derived from Norman Bates. That's where they got that from.
I've always thought that.
Yeah. This is a cool little trick. I guess they call it an Easter egg. The second meeting between Detective Kimball and Bateman in his office, Kimball reveals the Huey Lewis CD, right? The same CD that Bateman was using when he murdered Paul Allen. Now, he shows it to Bateman by having the sunlight reflect off the CD cover and into his eyes. This is intentional on Kimball's part to test Bateman's reflexes, and studies suggest that psychopaths tend to show I'm going to mispronounce this, but here I go. Can you read that for me? Autonomic.
It's one of those words.
Yeah. Studies have suggested that psychopaths tend to show autonomic hyperactivity in response to adverse stimuli compared to non-psychopathic individuals. Now, simple English, overall this means that psychopaths are unconsciously less reactive to unpleasant events. So when he reflects the light in his eye, Bateman just doesn't do anything. He just stares. Whereas if somebody like shined a light in your eye, you'd be like, bitch, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Get that out of my face. So that was a fun one. In order to dive into the role of the ultra-superficial and narcissistic Bateman, Bale took a good look in the mirror one day and looked for any imperfections and found that his teeth were not perfect and knew that Bateman would have gotten them fixed. And so he did just that. So it's actually cool. They showed a before and after photo with his teeth. I was like, holy shit, he actually did that. Years before the film's release, director David Cronenberg was set to direct it with Brad Pitt as Bateman.
Fuck no.
However, his version, hold on, it gets funnier. His version of the film excluded all the restaurants and nightclub scenes, and as well as all the violent scenes, and was tended to end with a musical performance by Bateman on top of the World Trade Center.
How many drugs did he have to do to come to that conclusion?
I also think, well, maybe you have it in there.
And
I think the
book's
writer.
Well, the book's author said no, and Cronenberg was ousted.
I can't remember if it was Cronenberg or the writer the writer of the book who wanted it to be in black and white. I can't remember which one it was. But
I don't have anything about that one. That's interesting, though.
One of them wanted that.
That would be interesting. I mean, obviously the blood, would be there wouldn't be so much blood in the certain scenes, but
well, if you think about the movie, well, it shows blood, but it doesn't actually show the impact of anybody being killed. So it was a little neat thing.
And last but not least, this one's a long one, but this was interesting. When Mary Harron was brought to direct it, she wanted to use Christian Bale right from the get-go. Mm-hmm. However, Lionsgate was intent on giving the role to Leonardo DiCaprio, who had previously swiped roles from Bale, such as This Boy's Life, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and Titanic. Now, where is it? However, so when she proposed that they use Christian Bale, Lionsgate shot it down and thus fired her for refusing to do the movie without him. She didn't want to do it with DiCaprio, so she said, I'm not doing it. So they fired her. And so what happened shortly after that, rumors are, journalist and feminist icon Gloria Steinem, who was against the book's adaptation because of the violence against women, she spoke to DiCaprio when she took him to a Yankees game and convinced him that since he had just gained a following among women for all the roles he had done, specifically Titanic, that taking the role of Patrick Bateman would harm his reputation. So sometime shortly after that, DiCaprio withdrew from the role, and Gloria Steinem married Bale's father later that year. Some people suggest that she was doing her future son-in-law a favor and got him that role.
Also, they Lionsgate tried to get Matt Damon, Edward.
He would have been young.
Edward Norton, Ben Affleck, and one other person to be Bateman. Vince Vaughn.
He would have been terrible. Like, I love Vince Vaughn, but he could not do that role. He could not.
Wait, both of you just gave me the same look and the same head movement pause at the same time. That shit was funny.
This is why you gotta have fucking YouTube on.
That shit was funny. You couldn't. That was funny. That looked planned. That was hilarious. Like, y'all both moved at the same time.
Damn.
Because that was shocking. Like I said, I love Vince Vaughn, but he could not do that role.
He did.
I think he could have. He's done serious roles,
and that's fine.
I think he was a like. I don't think his first film was like comedy. Like he's played serious roles before earlier on in his career.
There's a movie I think he did. I think it's called Domestic Disturbance. I think it's him with John Travolta. It had to do, I think, with like family abuse and everything, and he was the abuser in it. So, if I remember correctly, he was like a son of a bitch in that movie.
It definitely would have been weird, especially looking back on it. But
Matt Damon, maybe, because I think it's around the time he did The Talented Mr. Ripley, which was that movie where I think he was a killer or something like that.
I can't see anybody outside of Christian Bale.
No, absolutely not. If you told me right now, Joe, do this movie, I would have been like, give me Christian Bale.
Maybe Edward Norton, because Edward Norton is like Christian Bale. Like, those are they're both method actors. Like, they really dive into the character.
Well, I'm happy with Edward Norton in Fight Club. That was even better.
Yes.
So,
but yeah, I thought that was pretty
because I think those two movies kind of have they kind of share a similarity.
They do.
So
they really do. That's not horror, is it?
Fuck, who cares? That's a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's a thriller, right?
Psychological film, right?
It is psychological. It's very psychological. Yeah, I don't have anything else on the film. I mean, there's a bunch of other fucking facts.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, so Did I get everybody's grade for the movie?
Overall, yeah, I believe so.
Yep.
Okay. Movie recommendations? Joe, do you have one?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I can give you one.
Okay.
This movie it's technically, it's labeled as a horror thriller, or I mean a war thriller. I would call it a horror film, though, based on the fact that it is a true crime, and it's a disturbing one. The movie is called Conspiracy. Came out in 2001. And here's the synopsis. In January of 1942, 15 German officials gathered at a mansion on the outskirts of Berlin with the instructions to orchestrate one of the most shocking crimes in humanity's history, resulting in the systematic murder of over 6 million men, women, and children. Conspiracy is a dramatization of what has become known as the Wannsee Conference and gives insight to the atmosphere, the attitudes of the participants, and as one article put it, reveals the various ethical aspects related to the portrayal of evil, not on actions, but on words. So this movie stars actually a well-known cast. Kenneth, I can't say his last name. Branagh. Yeah. He plays the lead role of Richard Heydrich. Stanley Tucci, Colin Firth, Barnaby Kay, Owen Teal, and there is a very small role by a very young Tom Hiddleston, who plays Loki, as everyone knows. He had a very small role. He was like a phone operator. He was on the camera for like 2 seconds. It's available on HBO Max, Hulu, Amazon, and Vudu. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I saw it last year, and it's unsettling just because you know what they're talking about, and just to see them sit there and casually talk about it, there's something about it that's just eerie. Especially because, like there's scenes where Kenneth Branagh's character, he's charming, he tells jokes and everything. It's just like, this is, yeah. So it was disturbing for sure.
Jamie, do you have a movie recommendation?
I do not have one for today.
Okay. I do have one. I just posted about it. It's called Black Box, came out 2020. The synopsis is, after losing his wife and his memory in a car accident, a single father undergoes an agonizing experiment treatment that causes him to question who he really is. If I had to pick a movie that it was similar to, I would say Flatliners, that came out in, I think it was 1990. They did a remake also, but it came out in the 90s. Flatliners had a fuck ton of people. Kevin Bacon, Julia Roberts, what's the guy from Kiefer Sutherland? It had a lot of people in there. But yeah, I just watched this. It's pretty good. I would say it's more of a psychological sci-fi thriller. It's not really a horror film, but it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Also, random fact just popped up in my head about American Psycho. Christian Bale was trying to figure out who Patrick Bateman should be like. So, there were a couple serial killers, Ed Gein, as he mentioned in the movie, Ted Bundy, stuff like that. But he said, fuck them. And he based the character off of Tom Cruise.
What?
Who is actually mentioned in the book, by the way.
So I take it they don't get along, or
he said he watched the interview of Tom Cruise. So this had to be before 2000. But he watched an interview of Tom Cruise, and he said that even though Tom Cruise was laughing and doing all these things, he had like no emotion behind his eyes. So that's kind of how he based Patrick Bateman off of. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is creepy as fuck.
Is he?
Yes. Like, if you really look at him, like, you can tell that he just, like, there's nothing there.
I mean, I don't stare into men's eyes like that. That's not really my thing.
All right. Well, you should try it sometime.
No, thank you.
mean, we already know that I'm a Tom Cruise hater, so.
Yes. I don't know why, though. He has so many classic movies.
You hate him as an actor or as a person?
A person. And yeah, I mean, like, I like some of the Mission Impossible movies.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about, like, some great thrillers.
Like what?
Oh, my God.
Collateral's a good one with Jamie Foxx.
I'm thinking about the 90s.
90s.
Even 80s. Tom Cruise been around for a long time. What's the movie with Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore?
Few Good Men.
Yes.
That's a damn
Haven't
good
seen
one.
that either.
Amazing.
Oh, we need to do one like about court dramas.
Yeah, and you might like it. You might like it. I feel like you would like it. Collateral was a good one. I think Tropic Thunder.
Oh, fuck yeah. The greatest role he ever did.
Yes. Hands down. Hands down the greatest role he ever did.
Les Grossman.
After I found out that was Tom Cruise, I was like, this man could do no wrong. I don't give a fuck. That shit is funny. Jerry Maguire. Classic.
I haven't seen
Risky
that in
Business.
a lot of years.
But do you like it?
I can't remember shit.
Top Gun.
Nope.
You don't like it or you haven't seen it?
I have seen the first one way too many times because look, my mom used to really like Tom Cruise and hard pass, lady.
Vanilla Sky was good.
That movie. Now, you want to talk about a mind fuck. Vanilla Sky, whoa.
The Firm. That's what I was trying to think of. The Firm.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I don't think I saw that one either.
It's good. Interview with a Vampire, obviously.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Rain Man, Color of Money. He got classics. Classics. No?
I mean, that's fair.
Okay.
Taps. There's another good one.
Huh?
Taps. You ever see that one?
Taps.
Military boot camp or military academy one.
It don't sound familiar.
Very, very young Tom Cruise. It was about a military academy was about to get shut down, and the commandant ends up getting arrested on some bullshit that happens, and the kids basically decide to revolt. They seize the armory, and they basically just take over the school, and it becomes a standoff between the cops and all these military trained kids. So, but yeah, Tom Cruise was in it.
Outsiders.
Timothy Hutton and Sean Penn, very young, all three of them.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed. Our next episode will be... Damn, I didn't pick one. Here, let me just pull one off the top of my head.
Oh, no, that's not a good idea.
Why?
You're going to pick something and we're all going to just be like, no.
Cry Wolf.
What? The hell's Cry Wolf?
I don't think I've seen that.
How old is it?
Early 2000s. I don't know why that one came to me, but it's a slasher. So, Jamie, we're getting back to our roots, I feel like. Yeah. Is American Psycho a slasher? Do y'all consider that a slasher?
There was not enough slashing. It wasn't brutal enough.
I've seen the movie.
It wasn't
cover.
brutal enough?
No.
He 8-town stumped a dog. How was it not brutal
for
enough?
like 2 seconds and we didn't even see it.
Thank God.
But still, the sound, like...
Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember there being any sound. Like, nothing.
Yeah, when he was kicking the dog, it definitely was sound. And then like it was done intentionally, like them not
obviously,
showing
I don't
how.
actually want to see it.
I'm not talking about just the
but-
dog. I'm talking about all the kill scenes. Like we don't actually see the impact of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was just kind of like there was nothing there.
Yeah, but I mean, there's tons
A little
of
bit
slasher,
of blood spatter, but
tons of slasher movies that don't show that stuff.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about all the fucked up shit where it's like, damn.
I don't know, but Cry Wolf. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I just looked it up. That actually looks good. So.
It came out like on the tail end of like the Scream Urban Legend. It came out that time period. So
I recognize the movie cover, but no, I don't think I ever watched it.
it definitely got some people that y'all would recognize.
Yeah,
So
it has Jared Padalecki.
Yeah.
I recognize him right off the bat.
yeah, so I think y'all enjoy it. I'm pretty sure the main girl. You have it on your phone?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the main girl in that movie was in Wrong Turn.
Yep, Linda Booth. She was in Wrong Turn and also Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, she was the one who got killed by the car.
Total fucking hottie. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
That's gonna do it for today's
Good-looking
episode.
lady. What's wrong?
It was just random. That's gonna do it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And just remember that there is a thin line between horror movies and true crime. Good night.